Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
All, and welcome to episode 24 of iFive for the iPhone. I'm Sarah Lane, and this is the show where we pick 5 of the best iPhone apps, news, tips, and tricks, and pass them along to you. Shall we? Number 1. Last week I told you about Facebook's new standalone app, Facebook Poke, that's sort of a part poking app and part temporary messaging app. And you might recall that I was a little lukewarm about the whole thing. Well, luckily for me, and for you, Facebook introduced another feature, this one bundled into Facebook's standalone Messenger app. Now, what's great about Facebook Messenger is that you can use it instead of traditional texting, which uses the SMS protocol. That's helpful for me because my carrier is Verizon, and I've been able to downgrade to a lower texting monthly plan that charges me less because I can use Facebook Messenger over data instead. Now, this is only going to work for you if all the friends you want to text are also using Facebook, but in my case, it's pretty much everybody. Okay, so what's new about Facebook Messenger? Voice! Doesn't sound like that though, unless you want it to. Now when I go to send a little message to my friend Kate, I've got a new option. I can record a voice message up to 60 seconds, and then I can send it to her. Hey dude, what up? I could treat this sort of like a voicemail, I guess, but it's more for short bursts of audio back and forth between friends. Hey dude, what up? Voice texting. And not just one-on-one either. I can send the same voice message to a group of friends at once. Hey, we all work together. This is basically Facebook's answer to a service like Voxer that's built around voice messages. I didn't really take to Voxer because I'm not regularly interested in sending voice messages, but I do think it's smart for Facebook to offer this feature in the Messenger app that people are already using. Why not? More features, more dependence on Facebook. And by the way, this is just the first step in Facebook's quest to actually roll out VOIP calling, that's voice over IP calling, which is already being tested in certain markets. Number 2. Got a nice little tip from my buddy Steve Abramowitz, who tweeted me that app gifting is back for iOS devices. What does that mean, you might be asking? Well, when you're on an app page in the App Store and you tap the arrow button in the upper right-hand corner, you can send out the link to the app a variety of different ways. But now you can also gift the app to somebody you think will like it. It's a little present. You can add a little message along with the app if you want, and you can also choose to send it immediately or on a specific date in the future, which is helpful if you have a birthday coming up and you want to schedule the app gift to arrive then. Now, Steve is right when he says app gifting is back. For reasons that I don't really think any of us know, when Apple rolled out iOS 6 last fall, app gifting got disabled. It always worked via iTunes on your computer, just not on iPhones or iPads. But now the feature's back, so let your generosity run wild. Number 3. Every once in a while, App will come across the old iFive assignment desk that's just so awesomely geeky. We have to tell you about it. And I gotta thank my iFive correspondent across the pond, Phil Crawley, for finding it.
There are lots of apps in the iTunes store that allow you to send Morse code using the iPhone 4 or the iPhone 5's built-in flash. But there only seems to be one that allows you to actually read Morse code as well, and that's Spylight, and it's a lot of fun. So long as you can see the other iPhone that's sending the Morse code, and you can center the camera on the flash of the person who's sending, you can read what they're sending back to you. And if you have a distance of maybe 40 or 50 meters in the daytime, or even further at night time, so we found it worked up to about 100 meters, you can send Morse code messages, and it's a lot of fun, if not a very slow way to communicate. A very inexpensive app, just $1 in the iTunes store, and my kids loved it. We've spent many a crazy afternoon seeing how far it'll work. Thanks a lot. This is Phil from the Engineers Bench podcast, screencasts for broadcast and media technicians. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Phil. I really love the fact that your family's idea of a good time is to go test Morse code out on the street with your iPhones. I think we'd all get along really well. Like Phil said, Spylight is 99 cents, and probably worth it just to say things like, like this. Number 4, got another great tip for all you emoji enthusiasts from Roger. He writes, go to Settings, then General, then Keyboard, then under Shortcuts, you can add shortcuts with emojis assigned to words. Then when you type the word, the emoji will automatically appear in your message. He says, caution though, this is system-wide, so that emoji will pop up everywhere you use the word. If you don't want the emoji, you can press the little X beside it, or if you already put it in by mistake, just go back beside the emoji and the word it's associated with will appear, allowing you to switch. Oh, Roger, I almost wish you hadn't told me this was possible, because now my friends are about to get some seriously complicated emoji-riddled sentences. I'm so sorry in advance, friends. Actually, no, I'm not. Finally, numero 5, and we got a duh tip. Let's finish off this episode with a duh tip from Dan in Australia about a little feature I just assumed you already knew about already, but since he emailed it to me, maybe I've never mentioned it. He writes, when you're using an app that has an interface that scrolls down excessively or even endlessly like Twitter or Facebook, you can just tap on the clock along the top bar and it'll snap back to the very top of the page. It works while browsing your feeds, looking through your camera roll, browsing your emails, scrolling to the top of the page in Safari, and I'm finding more apps that do it all the time. Yes, this is such a duh tip that if you didn't already know it existed, I'm about to change your iPhone browsing life for the better. Why scroll when you can just jump? Thank you, Dan. And thanks to all of you for watching and listening and helping me build this episode of iFive for the iPhone. If you'd like to auto-download the show every week, just hit the subscribe button at twit.tv/iFive. That's where you'll find all of our apps and story links too. You can email us questions, tips, ideas, app stuff, anything, jokes at iFive@twit.tv. Leave us a voicemail at 614 on iFive, or send us a video with an app review of your own. I am Sarah Lane, and I'll see you next week right here on iFive.